Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Ravani.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Isha. So good. Hare Krishna, Puja Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for being here. Let's do the Mangala Charan and then we shall start the last chapter of Bhakti Yoga. Ajnanaतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथवितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवादूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीशाखावतं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्तकांचा गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Thank you again. And let's do so. We are doing the series of 18 chapters in 18 sessions, and we are here on 12th chapter out of 18. And today is a new year, so from our behalf, happy new year to every one of you. Hope Krishna's mercy will fall upon us, and a lot of time we already have the mercy, we just need to realize on it, and that's the first part of it, right? So let's hope, and with that hope we will conclude the Bhakti Yoga, which is the main essence of all the 18 chapters. Today we will try to do that, with which last chapter, chapter 11, if you remember, we got the darshan of universal form. So even we could not see, but we can say by the words, by the descriptive words, we could feel and we could see what Arjun saw, what Sanjay saw. So this is what we can see. And if you see, there are a few boxes in there. And very quickly, if I will go around just to see the background where we were, and we will continue from there. So Arjun initially asked that I'm in illusion now. You say you are, because chapter 7, chapter 8, chapter 9, and then chapter 10. Krishna gave confidential knowledge about himself. And Arjun said, I cannot understand. Is this really you? And that's why he said, could you please show me? And then Arjun said, of course, sure, I can. And because you have asked so politely. Yes, please, Navneet.
What does Spog mean?
Spock. Yes. This is the short form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is for Krishna, basically.
Hey.
Yeah. Because a lot of ways that it depends which chapter we are in. Sometimes it's mentioned Vishnu, sometimes it's mentioned Krishna, or it says Bhagavan. And who is Bhagavan? So to describe Bhagavan, Srila Prabhupada ji has used these words called Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because a lot of time, demigods, we consider demigods as gods as well. So we say, even if we consider them as gods, they are devtas, but if we consider them as gods, then there is someone who is supreme, who is the one who gives the power. So that's how Supreme Personality of Godhead, Spog, came into birth. Thank you, Navneet. Any doubt, we should ask straightforward. Fantastic. So then Arjun said, could you please show me? And Krishna said, of course, because you have asked in such a surrender way, I'm going to show you. Then Krishna did that. Krishna shows the universal form. And right at the end, Krishna says that all that you could see, and Arjun got bewildered by that. But then Krishna said, this is just a minute reflection of me. It's not all of me. So we can understand that how much we can't really understand. The only thing we can understand is that we cannot understand Krishna enough. Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada that you have written so much about Krishna and you said that we cannot understand Krishna. So why you have written so many books and you go around opening new temples, you give so many lectures, you are making so many disciples, devotees. Why? If you cannot understand Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada said, so we understand that we cannot understand Krishna, right? So like we say, more we study, more we understand how much we don't know. So if somebody says, I already know everything, that means that person doesn't know enough, right? That person could be a frog in the well, because a frog in the well will say, okay, I know everything, but that everything is just his well. So we can understand. But as soon as the frog will come out of the well, the frog will get bewildered. Wow, I used to think that well is mine. But what? There's a whole universe out there, right? There are so many things. And that's what everything goes around. So after that, then Arjun got bewildered. Arjun initially asked for it. Krishna showed that. Then right at the end, Arjun said, I don't understand. Who are you? Who are you? That's right, Navneet. Prabhupada ji never said that he could understand Krishna either. Nobody could understand. Prabhupada ji also always said that he's following the orders of his spiritual master. And that gives the authenticity of the parampara we are in. That everything we get, we offer to the lotus feet of our teacher, our spiritual master. And Prabhupada ji used to do the same thing. Whenever he used to get anything, he said, I get that because of the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. He never accepted anything for himself. So yes, you're right. He always said that nobody can understand Krishna, including himself, Srila Prabhupada ji. But well, he's very different anyways. So then what Arjun said that, who are you, Krishna, in this universal form? I'm bewildered. Then Krishna said, I am Kala. I am that time, which, so Krishna has already said that I'm the creator, I'm the maintainer. Now Krishna said that I'm the destroyer of all. So don't you think that you are going to kill these people? No. If you see these people, they have, so it's a pre-planned, right? So it says they have already been taken care of. So you don't need, you are just instrument carrying forward the order. You don't really need to get involved in it. You don't need to get attached to the orders you follow. You just follow the order. Again, the example we take, the cashier in Morrison's, in Mark and Spencer, if that person will get attached to that money, then there will be a trouble, right? Both physical trouble, if the person will do something bad, then might have to go to prison. Otherwise, mentally, let's say the person will not take the money, but will keep thinking, wow, this all money is, well, I could use it for my own sense gratification. I can go on holiday, or I can buy the Christmas pudding on Christmas, or buy the New Year gift for someone, right? So we don't need to get attached. We need to understand whatever we get, we need to utilize that in service of Krishna. Whether we can sing well, whether we can do the discourse as well, whether we can do the discussions well. We need to utilize everything we have on behalf of Krishna. And that's why Krishna said to Arjun that please fight, but don't fight to get the kingdom. Fight because that's your prescribed duty. So it's very important to understand what our prescribed duty is. And then we need to follow that, keeping Krishna in the middle. And then right at the end, Arjun confirms that Krishna, I understand you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead now. I understand you are the creator, maintainer, and the destroyer. And then could you please show me your... First, Arjun gets the darshan of Chaturbhuj, four-armed Krishna, and then the usual one where he was, the most pleasing to him, his own Krishna's original form with two hands. And Arjun was very happy with it. That's what we saw in universal form. Now moving forward, so in chapter 11, Krishna showed his universal form. But the way Arjun got pacified by the two-handed form, we can say Arjun was more attached to that form. And that's why Krishna gone back to it. But now what's happening in chapter 12? Chapter 12, very first question Arjun is going to ask and Krishna is going to clarify his position on it. Not at all, Navneet. It's not offensive at all. Feel free to ask any questions. The more questions we ask, better it is. Don't you get scared of, right? More questions, better it is. We need to get clarification. Remember, all this wisdom, all this knowledge is for our clarification. We need to get this to go forward. And trust me, when I attend lectures, I ask many questions, many questions. A senior devotee recently mentioned that I'm like Parikshit Maharaj, who keep, well, if you know Srimad Bhagavatam, then Parikshit Maharaj asked the questions from the beginning till end. He kept asking questions, and I love asking questions, so I really enjoy. And because you attend kids class as well, Sunday 5 p.m., so you would know very well that kids ask more questions than adults, so which is great. We always welcome questions. Questions are great. So
Prabhuji,
yes, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Why did Krishna first went into the four-armed form and then into the two-armed form?
Yes, very nice question, Mataji. If you remember, then Krishna, we say, if we get, let's say we leave material body and we go back to spiritual world. In a spiritual world, there are many places we can go to, but there are two separate places. One is Vaikuntha. Now, Vaikuntha, as we say, Kunta is distress. Vaikuntha, no distress, no problem at all. And then we have Goloka. Vaikuntha, when we go to Vaikuntha, what form we get? Like we get a spiritual body, but what will be the form of spiritual body? It will be what the scripture says, it will be the same as in Vaikuntha we have Vishnu. Krishna in the form of Vishnu is there, and he is there in four-armed forms, which is the official form of Krishna. Whenever Krishna needs to go to, like when we go to office, we get the coat, we get the tie, then that's the official dress. So in Vaikuntha, Krishna is in the form of four-armed form, and everyone else is four-armed as well. But Goloka Dhama, Krishna is in two arms. So that's why, if you remember, very first time when Krishna was born or appeared to his parents, Devaki and Vasudeva, then his form was also four-armed forms, in a baby form, but he had a four-armed form. And then obviously they understood, they paid obeisances, then Maya worked in, and then they forgot all about it, and Krishna changed it to two forms. So similar thing Krishna did it here. Then Krishna showed that form in which form he appears in Vaikuntha. So that's like his official form. But then Krishna is saying, Arjuna is saying that I understand that that's four form is your official, and then you are here to carry forward all these things. But I'm more attached to you in a personal manner, like you are in Goloka Dhama. That's why being devotees, we don't really want to go to heaven. We don't want to go to Swarg. We don't want to even go to, even in the spiritual world, we don't want to go to Vaikuntha, because we are in the mood of devotees where we would like to serve Krishna in the form, the way gopis, gopas, they played with Krishna in Vrindavan. So Vaikuntha is like Dwarka, where Krishna is the king, right? But Vrindavan is where Krishna is like Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna is playing around. So that's why the darshan of Dwarka, darshan of Vaikuntha in four-armed, and darshan of Goloka Vrindavan in two-armed forms. So that's why Krishna has done it actually many times. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna showed his four-armed forces a number of times. And sometimes, well, there was one particular time when Krishna showed his six arms, four-armed and two arms together, like Vishnu, Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, all three in one, just to show the devotee that I am the source of all these incarnations. These incarnations are actually my planetary expansions. So that's why it is. So very nice. Thank you so much for that question, Mataji. So with that, we can say chapter 12 could be split into three different sections. Now, the very first one is where we have bhakti over impersonalism. And this is a very big topic, but we have some tabular form differentiations where we could see, okay, whether, because a lot of time devotees think, well, this is my understanding, but I'm afraid I don't know whether I'm in devotional service or have I started following impersonalism. And then this tabular differentiation, what we will see today, will be very quick and very easy to understand. So that's the very first 7 verses. Then right in the middle, something we have discussed before. Remember, chapter 12 is the last chapter in Bhakti Yoga, the middle 6 chapters, from chapter 7 to chapter 12, chapter 12. So in these, from 12.8 to 12.12, Krishna is going to summarize all that. So there are different parts, different stages where we could be in our life in devotional service. And Krishna is so flexible. Krishna says, if you can't be this, could you be this? If you can't be there, could you be this? Like if you cannot be in university doing PhD, could you do masters? Could you do bachelors? Could you do 12th? Could you do 10th? Could you just be in primary? Or even if you can't do anything, could you just think of me? And if you think somebody who doesn't even go to school and somebody who been to school and university and has done the PhD, there's a massive difference between these two. But Krishna is ready to accept everyone. Doesn't matter how much we have done. And this is the progressive stages Krishna has shown to us there. And right at the end, then the qualities of Krishna. And then we will see devotees, they get those qualities as well. And then again, we will see in chapter 16, there are more qualities given. And there is another Rupa Goswamiji has written Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and 64 qualities of pure devotees given there. So we can have that list as well. And we could have that printed. You know, these days, New Year has begun. A lot of people, they make the New Year resolutions. But being devotee, what should be our resolution? That how are we serving Krishna and the devotees of Krishna? And how many out of those 64 qualities, how many qualities are we developing? Now, we don't really need to work hard to develop those, but what we could do, we could keep ourselves self-realized that are we developing? Are we progressing any further? So that's where we move on. Now, as I said, I will share the slides. And in this slide, we can see a lot of references being given. So from chapter 1, which was the observation, chapter 2, where we all started, and we see each and every chapter, different references being given. And these references, if we remember, it gives us the essence of Bhagavad Gītā and essence of Bhakti Yoga itself. So worth taking it. So I will pass on this as well to you. Now, the very first thing, and we do have another slide where we have, let me just quickly go there. Okay, 20 pass. Okay, let's go for, so let's do the verse. So what Krishna says in 12.12, Krishna says, so remember so there are 3 sections here. Right, well, we can go. Yeah. So there are 3 sections here. The very first one, the difference between devotional service and impersonalism. And we will see what the difference is. And then the second is the progressions we will see, like what we can see in these letters. And then the right is the devotional qualities, qualities of Krishna. But the main thing for us, the devotional service we carry out, the qualities we will develop through them as well. It will be for us rather than for anyone else. We can think of that. Right. So the very first thing Krishna says here, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. So what Krishna is saying here, right? If you think about it, there is an impersonal form and there is a personal form. We did mention, and then the mind. So now a lot of times people say, okay, there are 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. One thing, one teaching. What do we need to do? And the way Prabhupada explains, Krishna consciousness. Now, what will be Krishna consciousness? We say senses will be Krishna consciousness because we live our life through these senses. Is there any experience which we like or we don't like? Do we have any of those experiences where our senses are not involved, not engaged? If we like something, there got to be one of our senses, one or more senses engaged in it. Same thing whether we like it or we don't like it. So we live our life through senses. If we don't have senses, then we are as good as dead, right? Chapter 2 says, what is the symptom of the soul? What's the proof that we have soul in our body? The symptom, the proof is consciousness. We are conscious. Now, conscious of what? The consciousness we shows is through our senses. Conscious that we can see. Remember, if there is someone right at the front of you and looking at you, and you say something and the person is not getting it, you say, well, are you here? What does that mean? Of course, you can see the person is there right in front of you. But when you say, are you here? Are you here with your body and mind? So it doesn't really matter where our body is. What matters is where our mind is. So senses, but above senses, senses are in control of the mind, right? And we can control the mind through intelligence. And this is the end of chapter 2, where chapter 4 also gives that. The very, very great analogy of chariot. The horses are senses, and the rein is mind, and the charioteer is the intelligence, right? And that's what we are saying here. So why are we reading Bhagavad Gita? So we develop that intelligence. With that intelligence, we can control our mind. And with mind, we can engage our senses in Krishna consciousness. And that's the whole plan. And that's what Krishna is saying here. And then somebody who will not do that, what will happen to those? Right? So not only that, Krishna says, if you do that, this will happen. Krishna says that that's considered to be most perfect. Like you cannot be better than that. But then Krishna says, somebody who doesn't do that. Now this picture is of a yogi. Somebody who is concentrating, focusing, working very, very, very hard. Something we cannot do in this Kali Yuga. But somebody who is doing that and is focusing on impersonal form of Krishna, which means that Krishna doesn't have any form, just focusing on within his body something. And there are a few names for it. And we will see one very famous name of it. Now, for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of supreme, advancement is very troublesome. Now, Krishna, this is what we call Gyan Marg. Gyan Marg, devotees, let's say devotees on Gyan Marg, they do two things. First, they read scriptures. Then after reading scriptures, what do? They do the meditation. So whatever they have read, they try to mentally speculate, this happens, that happens, and then just by sitting in the meditation, they try to achieve Krishna. Right? Now what Krishna says, that this is very, very, very hard, very troublesome. Same thing Krishna says in the beginning of chapter 5. And the same thing Krishna says is here. Now, to make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Embodied means those who got the body, because as long as we have the bodies, we have troubles. So we just want the mind to be fixed in Krishna. Our body could be engaged in our prescribed duties, and that seems to be the solution. Easy. We are a student, we need to do the studies. We are grahastha, we need to take care of our family. Then, of course, if you go to the temple, then whether we become brahmachari or we become sannyasis, whether we become vanprasthi, we just leave everything and go to Krishna in Vrindavan. Doesn't matter where our body is. What matters is where our mind is. Of course, based on where our body is, it might help us to focus more on the mind. We can control our mind a bit better, but rather than controlling, in Krishna consciousness, we can engage our mind. So that's the main thing. And then Krishna says, but those who worship me, giving all their activities onto me and being devoted to me without deviation, which means no hidden agenda. We are doing everything for Krishna. We are thinking about Krishna. It's not a karma kand, because in karma kand, we want something. We want heaven. We want Vaikuntha. And it says that those who are pure devotees of Krishna, they don't even want to go to Goloka Dham. Why? Because they are here. They can feel and think of Krishna wherever they are. So they always feel with Krishna. Why? There is a verse in 18th chapter. And that verse says that pure devotees feel Krishna everywhere. And they can create Goloka Dham wherever they go. And we could do the same at our home. So when our friends will visit our home, they should feel like they have visited the temple. That's how pure ourselves and our house should be. We should always keep engaging in devotional service, always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me. For them, I'm the swift deliverer. So Krishna is saying, I'm the one who will deliver. So we don't say that Krishna killed. We don't say that Krishna killed all these demons. We say Krishna delivered all these demons. Because somebody who got killed by Krishna will certainly go back. And then this is 12.8. Now for 12.8, we will go back to the previous presentation. But before we go any further, any question what we have read so far? Okay.
No.
Yes, please.
No, I said there's no questions. Thank you.
Okay, Haribol. So how about just breaking the flow? How about if we do a quick poll? We have a poll on chapter 12. Let's just try that. Let's see what we got here. We got a few questions there. We got 6 questions there.
Prabhuji, in the slokam it says Dhanasjaya.
Does it say Dhanashaya? Where Dhananjaya usually you'd say? What, the shloka at the back? Oh yes, yeah, Dhanashaya. Jaya. No, that's been split. Let me just check. 12.9. Yeah, it's Dhananjay. So these two together, it's Dhananjay, which is Dhan is wealth, Jai is the winner. So the winner of wealth. So Arjun has been referred here as Dhananjay, as Krishna said. Okay. I hope you could see the poll because nobody has submitted the poll yet. Is it too hard?
I have submitted. Oh, what happened?
Have you, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay, well, at my end, I don't see anyone submitted. Okay, could be the software.
Well, you may have to, I don't know, whether we do it again. Yeah, we have submitted.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I'm glad
we have.
Haribol, thank you. Because usually I see how many have been submitted. Okay, all right. Kana also submitted. Navneet also submitted. I think Ishan is doing it. Okay, all right. Maybe worth. So again, as usual, I will share the link in the. Well, is there any question out of these 6 which might not be clear? Let me know. Usually, what happens, I can see. Well, I can't see the name, but I can see out of, for example, 10, how many of you have submitted, and then I can end the poll. But currently, it doesn't. It just says 0 out of all. So never mind. So let's just give a minute more to Ishan. If Ishan, are you doing it? Good. If you're not doing it, please let me know. We will forward. However, otherwise we will wait for you.
Prabhuji, I have submitted.
You have.
Yeah.
Okay, you said did submit. All right. Thank you, Ajayji. Thank you. All right. I will end the poll now. So not sure what happened to the poll today. So Hare Krishna. Now, thank you so much for the poll. I will share the results in the group, so you will have the link and all that. There are many more questions there. We just take as many as we can do. But now, very first phase we have seen, but even in that phase, let's go back and let's see this. So in this one chart, and then we have there is another one, so it says 6, and then we have 7 more. But we can see impersonalists and personalists. So devotional service, we would like to do it considering Krishna as a person, and Krishna is sitting there in the spiritual world. Krishna did come around here. Krishna is a person. But impersonalists, they don't think Krishna is a person. They think it otherwise. For them, it's very difficult, very, very difficult for them, because for them, Jnana Yoga is where they do the meditation. And in Bhakti Yoga, whatever we are doing, we just need to keep doing it, but we need to bring Krishna into the practice. So very first thing is hearing. If we hear about Krishna, that's also considered as one of the devotional service. Then, of course, if we speak about Krishna, that's also considered as devotional service. Then if we do the chanting, bhajan kriya, if we do the kirtans, then also there are many more in it. But these top 3, this seems to be the most simplest one. Anyone could do it. But it will be very hard for us if somebody will say, could you please sit at one place and do 10 minutes meditation without thinking of anything else? And that's what this says. Then there we have to restrict the senses. And for many, like Dhruv Maharaj, he did it when he was a child for 5 years. He ate, and that he had a gradual process as well, but he ate the dry leaves and how hard that will be, right? But those days they could do it. He was a Kshatriya, right? Kshatriya boy, he could do it, but we weren't able to do it. Even without food, when on Ekadashi we need to fast. How hard sometimes it is for us to fast on Ekadashi. So we can't do it, but we cannot restrict the senses, but we can engage the senses. For enjoyment, we need to do something. We need to eat nice food, varieties of food. Doesn't matter, whatever we want, we can offer it to Krishna and then we can have that, right? And it's so simple. We would like to hear the music. How about we hear the music, the bhajans about Krishna, and they are so melodious. So many great devotees are there who sing so well that you don't really need to go to Bollywood or Hollywood music or anything. Similar thing, if you would like to try to understand it, it says you need a highly intellect. Upanishad, considering Puranas, Upanishads are very intellect. Like there are many, but Markandeya Purana, sorry, not Markandeya Purana is a Purana, but there are many Upanishads. They are, so one of them is Mandukya. Mandukya Upanishad, it's very, very short. It's just one A4 size page. But to understand that, people are doing PhDs on just one Upanishad. So we can understand how many different analysis, analytical views people trying to put together. And this is impractical for us. But what Srila Prabhupada says, you just take your chanting bead, you offer it to Krishna, you hear about Krishna, you go to the temple, associate with devotees. That's it. Not much. And it's a long, like what Krishna has said in this verse, it's a very, very, very long process. But here, if we start it now, we are in devotional service. We hear about Krishna, we say about Krishna, we are not making any flaw or not picking any flaw in anyone at the moment, right? So we are in pure devotional service because we are thinking about Krishna, we are speaking about Krishna, we are hearing about Krishna. When we eat Krishna Prasad. These are some of the basic and simple things we can do it, right? And they don't have any relationship with Krishna. Here, for Krishna, like Pushti Marg, they consider Krishna as a baby, Laddu Gopal, right? Madan, well, there are many relations people make. So we can do it. And how beautiful that relation could be. And it goes generation after generations. So, and there you have to do, like somebody who is doing meditation will have to do it one person aside. Nobody else can help you in that. But here in devotional service, you're not alone. There are many more people. When you go to the temple, you are doing, like when we were in France, we went to the middle of France and we stayed there for 3 days. And the kids, they were like a couple of years younger. And they were there, they were dressing Krishna's dresses, right? They were building all those. They were building the garlands. They were like my daughter was sewing few things. And they really, really enjoyed. And while doing it, all the devotees were around. They were discussing all different leelas, pastimes, and they were cherishing. And so this is like within association, we can do it.
Prabhuji,
Mataji, yes,
can
please.
yes. Now come prasadam. Yes, we offer the prasadam to the Krishna and when we eat it. Yes, that is freshly prepared and that's what we give and that's what we eat. But
Yes.
we eat like snacks in between as well. So yes, that is a problem. Whenever I eat a snack, I said, "Oh, what do I do?" You get confused. So,
Yes.
so
Should not. Yes, Mataji should not do it. Should not. However, if you think about it, again, there could be many snacks which we can make at home, or if you go to the temple, so for example, I don't know cooking much. I'm learning these days, working from home, but I don't know cooking. If Mataji will go to India, then if I would like to, I'm lucky enough, I don't have taste for food anyways. But if I want something, I can go to the temple. In the temple, Govinda's there, and they have those, and we can bring them and we can offer to Krishna. And there are many different varieties of snacks we can buy from there. Or we can cook it like Matajis like yourselves, they are so blessed and skillful. You can cook at home. If you will cook those snacks at home, then there is no problem because we know what they are made up of. One of the main reason we don't buy these things from outside, we don't know how pure they are. So that's what we make it at home. Like the mothers do for the children, we do as devotees for Krishna as well. We don't want to offer anything to Krishna where we cannot put our faith on. We cannot put our trust on that what's good about it. And so yes, yeah, if we buy from outside, then we should not offer it to Krishna. If we order takeaways, we cannot offer to Krishna because we don't know.
Yeah, but I was told that like let's say you make something at home, okay? Like I made some farsi puri or something. You offer it once to Krishna, and they
Yes.
said that should be it. Should we keep on offering it even if we have eaten it after that?
No. What happens, for example, let's say if we bring 6 bananas, so we bring half a dozen bananas. So if I want to have it, like in the morning, I wake up early. So by the time breakfast is ready, I will do some chanting. Then I will go and I will offer maybe 2 bananas. Out of 6, I will offer 2 bananas to Krishna. We will have 2 bananas. Then the kids will say, okay, we want something as well. Then we will, out of those 4 left, we can offer rest of the 2 to Krishna. But what we cannot do is that offer all the 6 in one go. And then when somebody wants, we out of the same offer, we offer it again. No, it's a very simple. If we consider Krishna as a person, we consider Krishna as the person. If we have offered once, we will not offer again to the person.
Yeah.
If we keep it that way. The same thing, for example, when we make rice, and sometimes rice might go a bit more in quantity. We don't know whether there were 4 people or 3 people. Sometimes kids say we don't want to eat, or we want to eat only less, and little bit is left. So we made in, let's say, lunch, and then we could not finish in lunch. We will have the same thing, a little bit of rice in dinner as well. But we cannot offer those in the dinner to Krishna. We can have it all. It's a prasad, but we cannot offer it to Krishna because we have offered them during lunchtime already.
Yeah.
Very nice. So similar thing, where we said impersonalist, then impersonalist, we say Brahman. That's the equivalent. And where we say personalist, we understand that Krishna is a Bhagwan. And that's the difference between 2. Impersonalist Brahman and personalist Bhagwan, which is Krishna. And when we say SPOG, like what Navneet asked, Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Krishna is the Supreme Person. And that's where these differences are. And so I won't go into the detail of all of them, but it's very similar to what we did before. And I'm going to share this as well in the chat. So we have this with us if you want to. But this is what we have discussed it before. In chapter 12, Krishna is summarizing all of that. So that was the difference. And this is what, now why Krishna is saying that? So we can understand that Krishna is a person. So that's what Bhagavad Gītā tells us. A lot of other devotees from other sampradayas, I will say, they will consider Krishna as a Brahman, impersonal Brahman. And there are many. But we consider as Krishna as a person. Right. Now this is, moving here, section B, very quickly, is again what we have done before. But this is the gradual moving from one phase to another. And this is what our understanding is. And this is what our real life could be. Now, what it could be, rather than reading the text, let's go to this slide. What this says, so again, it's going down a level. So what Krishna is saying, the best, most perfect is 12.8, that mind is fixed on Krishna. And result is that we live with Krishna in a relationship. Right? But Krishna says, if you cannot do that, then 12.9 at least. So we are moving a level down. Krishna said, if you cannot do that, could you follow the regulative principle of sadhana bhakti? And that's where, again, nectar of devotion comes in, from sadhana to, well, from shraddha to bhava prema. So 12.8 is bhava prema and 12.9 is sadhana bhakti, where we just develop shraddha and we are following the regulative principle because somebody asked to do it, like our spiritual master. Other devotees, they have asked us to follow Shraddha Bhakti. But then Krishna said, even if you cannot follow the regulative principles, then at least 12.8, work for Krishna. Now, what does that mean, work for Krishna? But Krishna says that at least you, whatever work you do, think you are doing it for me, what Arjun did. When Right at the end, Arjun understood everything from Krishna. Now Arjun said, I'm a surrender soul. I'm going to fight this fight for you because your purpose is to reestablish the religion. So I'm going to do it for you. Not that like what he was thinking before, that I'm going to be compassionate or there will be a destruction of dynasty. Oh, I will not get any enjoyment. Now he's not thinking of his own. He's thinking of Krishna now. And that's what we think. When we go to the work, or we got this work, not because I'm very intelligent, because I worked very hard in university. No, because Krishna has given me so much. And because I got so much, I need to offer it back to Krishna. Whatever skill we have. It's not only financial. It could be a lot of devotees, like when I was in Middle East, especially. There were many devotees. There were not many, a lot of them were not educated, but they used to spend time in cooking. They will say, we will cook. Or some of them will say, okay, we know this place, we will make it prepare for the sadhana. Like other devotees will go and give the lectures. So we will clean this place. So it doesn't really matter. And there is no one service better than other. Every service is as good as other. So this is what Krishna is saying, work for me, like keep me in the middle. And Krishna says, even if you cannot do that, at least 11 and 12 verse, Krishna says, renunciate, cultivate the knowledge and meditate. And this is what the jnana is. Look what Krishna is saying, that at least have that. So Gyan Marg is very hard, but at least have there. Okay, so Navni, oh, sorry. Ajay ji has asked the question. What is the difference between Bhagwan and Ishwar? Harivo. Very nice. So this is a concept. So for us, we will say Bhagwan and Ishwar is the same. But in Upanishad, Bhagwan and Ishwar is a different concept, right? So, but again, we will not go to impersonalist. The way they see Bhagwan and Ishwar, they see it different. What basically they see that there is one Ishwar and there is one Bhagwan, and we can become Bhagwan. So we will not go. Also Hari, yes. Hari is another name of Krishna. But Bhagwan and so Hari again is not a word which impersonalists will go for. But Bhagwan and Ishwar are very two different concepts for impersonalists. That's how what they understand. But for our devotional service, the way we understand Bhagwan, we understand Bhagwan and Ishwar is the same thing, which is Krishna, the supreme personality, who is the Ish, who is the top. And that's Bhagwan. And there's a definition of Bhagwan is also given by Parashar Muni, and only Krishna can fulfill that. So for us, there won't be any difference for Bhagwan and Ishwar. And Navneet says, do your endeavor to Krishna? Yes, do your endeavor for Krishna. Anything you do it for Krishna. Haribo. Very nice. Thank you so much. So this is how what Krishna is saying. First, fix your mind to me, and right at the end, even if you can't do, at least get the knowledge about me, do the meditation on that. Even if you won't able to follow them, at least get the knowledge, which is just hear, listen about it, right? Be a jnani if you can't be a bhakt, because at the end, jnani will also reach to the bhakti level, but it's very troublesome, like what Krishna says. So this is what Krishna said in these. Then again, this is a different representation. Now dissecting the purport given by Prabhupada ji, but basically this is what it is. Verse 8, 9, 10, 11. Perform devotional service if you can't do. Follow the regulative principle if you can't do. Work for Krishna if you can't do that. At least try to give up all your results, which means renounce, which means try to get the knowledge, which means try to hear. That's what Krishna keeps saying. Again, another representation, just going higher and higher. However, sometimes devotees, they feel very hard to understand it, that because it goes backwards. So it says 10, it says 12.10, 12.12, then 13. Oh, sorry. It actually goes from 8, 9, 10, 11, and then right at the end, 12. But that's how we can see it's in the stage, in the progressive way, what Krishna is summarizing. And Krishna has said these things before, right? So we will not go there. Now, this is what Navneet has already said. If I will go back to the previous presentation, and I'm looking at the time now, but this is the last part where we see the qualities. 13 and 14. This is a very short chapter. There are 20 verses. So this is the third section. The first section, we have seen the difference between Brahman and Bhagwan, impersonalist and personalist. The second, where we understand the progressive stages. And the third one. So it doesn't really matter where we are in that progressive stage. We could be on first one, we could be on third one. Sometimes, like in December month, all the devotees, they are very dedicated in book distribution, and we might feel fired up. Or maybe in January, because we have seen so many resolutions going around, we might feel, wow, we are right on the top one. Our mind is fixed at Krishna. But maybe by the end of February, we will feel, oh, we can't even follow 16 rounds. It's hard to do the 4 regulative principles, and we will fall down a bit. So this also happens. But if we know about it, again, what Krishna says in 12.12, if we keep following that, we can move ourselves up and up. So very first thing is to be self-conscious. If we are not conscious about it, we will not able to move forward. And then 12, 13 and 14. So 13th and 14th verse of chapter 12, a lot of transcendental qualities of pure devotees given. Now, this is where we say that we always need to be, first of all, we need to hear it. We need to understand them. And that's why on the left-hand side, Sanskrit, and on the right-hand side, English has been given. So we need to understand, are we this? So we should be kind, because pure devotee should be kind. Right? Do we have those qualities? If we have spent 5 years in devotional service, visiting temple, every weekend we go to temple, or maybe every day we read a verse of Bhagavad Gītā. But at the end of the day or week or month or year, when we sit down and we say, well, I'm not developing these qualities, we have to think. We have to think, and we have to ask the question ourselves, whatever we have been doing or whatever we are doing now, does that count in devotional service? Or is it something else? Could it be a pretender? Am I one of those who just pretending to be a devotee? We are not devotees, we are pretending. Could that be it? Because a lot of time that also happens. We have material conditioning, then we also have spiritual conditioning. We just put the tilak, we just put the dress, and we visit the temple because it's something good to do about it. And people say, oh, I go to temple every Sunday, it's a really good thing. But it's not for us to tell us others, it's for ourselves. We should see the difference should be there. Gradually, we should able to develop those qualities. So we see the qualities 13 and 14, what it says. And if you see the middle one, equiposed in both happiness and distress. And this is a great test of pure devotees in the current circumstances, where a lot of people losing the job, the pay cuts going down, and we are losing the relatives, devotees, association going down. We cannot physically visit the temple. We cannot physically visit the deities. Are we equiposed? Or if we get the promotion, if we get a bit of money, do we get very happy about it? But Krishna says we need to be sama. We need to be equiposed. Then forgiving. Are we ready to forgive somebody who hasn't behaved like what we think they should behave? Certainly goes for all the parents, because children, they don't behave the way we expect them to behave. But can we do that? Are we content? Are we satisfied? So if you think of all these, then you will think there's nothing more required, is it? We will be as happy as anyone could be. And that's why it says the pure devotee will always be happy, here and now. The only thing is, are we pure devotees? The thing we are doing, is this classed as pure devotional service? So that's one thing we got to think, and we got to ask ourselves. So if you go through, never rejoice, never grieves, never laments. Pure, na shochati, na kankshati. And if you think about it, there is nothing more required for us to gain or achieve or realize. There are more and more and more. And if we see the examples of pure devotees, we see the example of Srila Prabhupada ji, then all of these, they will follow. These qualities will fall in place for his character. And many other, like a lot of time people say, oh, well, I don't know how which spiritual guru is the best, or which sampradaya. You say, well, check if the person has these qualities. Check whether the person is a pure devotee. Right? And then right at the end, what Krishna says, then Krishna says, those who follow, this is the last verse of this chapter, those who follow this imperishable path, because this is a spiritual path. Remember, we said material path, doesn't matter how much we achieve, next birth, everything will be lost. But on this spiritual path, if we have achieved 20% or 40%, next birth, we will start from there. We will not lose anything. Krishna has said that number of times. For example, those who follow this imperishable path, because anything, even a little work on this path, no loss, no diminution of devotional service, and who completely engages themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very dear to me. Me priya, bhakta, me priya. So we just need to become the pure devotee, and that's the only thing we need to do. And that's chapter 12. If you think about it, it's very, very simple. However, our life is so complex that it's hard to be simple. Otherwise, Krishna only says, keep your mind attached to me. The only problem is we have not done practice of engaging our mind. Our mind just roams around like a monkey mind here and there. If we can control our mind, if we can engage our mind, if we can do the practice on daily basis, then it's very easy. If we hear about Krishna in the morning before we go to the bed, obviously the time we are with the client, we cannot. But if any opportunity we get, we spend thinking about Krishna, talking about Krishna, then all the material things, they fall. And we realize the spiritual is what's going to remain with us all the time. And this is the summary. So Krishna says in chapter 2, 12.2 verse, that personal, Amba person, not impersonal. Bhagwan, not Brahman. Brahman is also there. Impersonal feature is also there. But Bhagwan is superior than Brahman. And then swift deliverer, that I'm the one who is going to deliver that. Right? And then there are multi-levels, as we have seen, and we need to make one choice, which is to fix our mind to Krishna. Doesn't matter where we are, 12.8, 12.9, 10, 11, 12. Then the Krishna says at the end, the one who will able to fix the mind unto me like the topmost perfect yogi, that person is most dearer to me. Most dearer to me. Any question on this, please?
Yes, Prabhuji,
Haribol, Mataji, yes, please.
about the qualities, what about controlling of the negative qualities like anxiety and depression? So could it be form part of the equipoised in happiness and
Yes.
distress, isn't it?
That's right, yes. And that's the thing. I'm thinking of the name of the Prabhuji who said it. I think it was Gorang Prabhuji from Mumbai, from Chopati, who said that so many lives people do the suicide, so many lives, human lives, because human lives are very supposed to be very precious. But so many people, they do suicide, but you will never find a devotee committing a suicide, right? Because devotee would understand the importance of human life, and then that level of distress will never come. Of course, the problems will be there because there are three kinds of miseries. What we can from the body, from the mind, from others, like COVID. It's not that COVID will not disturb the body and might disturb the mind as well, but will not, again, depends if the devotee is in the association, thinking, and how advanced the devotee is. But no, you're very right, Mataji. One of the direct benefit we will get, there won't be any anxiousness. Right? There won't be. A lot of time, especially when people lose the jobs, then we realize people gets very agitated. Oh, what's going to happen now? There is no jobs in the market. But those who keep the mind stable, they able to spend more time finding the job, and they find the job better than others who just keep lamenting, keep cursing, oh, the circumstances are bad. And that's one of the reasons. And that's so true. Devotees will never think of negativity. No, never.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you for that question. Very nice question. Free from all distress.
Yes.
Very well. So that's our chapter 12. Any more questions, please? It's time is 11 now. Okay, Haribol. I will share the slides and the quiz as well on the group. And next Saturday, we will start the last bit, the last 6 chapters, which are rather small and very direct, being Gyan Yoga. So far in Bhakti Yoga, we have seen full of emotions, Bhakti, fixing mind. But now what we will see will be more logical, being the Gyan Yoga. We need to do this. And the chapters are much shorter, like this chapter was short as well, except the last chapter, which is much bigger, which is the biggest chapter, 18th chapter, but other chapters are very short. Okay, with that, Haribol. 18th chapter is very big. Yes. Thank you, Naveen. So with that, Hare Krishna, everyone. I hope New Year will go as planned. Hare. Thank you so much. Look forward to see you next Saturday, 10 a.m. And for the kids class, 5 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki.